Hello everyone, welcome to Ref Class. Make sure you hit the thumbs up button, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. If you want to share your opinion, make sure you leave a comment in the comment section. Ooh look, the video's loading. By rule, what constitutes a travel is pretty simple. But when it comes to identifying these kinds of travels, it can be a little tricky. While on your feet with player control status of the ball, we must first determine that the ball handler is no longer a dribbler, as well as determining which foot is the pivot foot. If you are not certain of these two things, do not blow your whistle. It's best to know than to guess. And if you can't explain it, don't call it.
Oh no, don't you?
After determining which foot is the pivot foot, it's important to know what a player can and cannot do. Once obtaining control of the basketball and not dribbling, the pivot foot can only be used to pivot. It's a traveling violation if a player falls to the floor while holding the ball, or after being airborne to catch a pass or control a rebound. The specific actions of this rule can be found in the casebook, not the rulebook. Diving to obtain possession of the ball is also a case play and won't be found within the rulebook. It's important to know the difference between the two. A player may pass, shoot, start a dribble, or request a timeout from this position. Sliding after obtaining and maintaining control of the basketball is legal. Whether on your front, back, or side, it is legal to roll over until you have completed your slide. If flat on your back, a player may sit up without violating. The information for this act can also be found in the casebook. The information for this case places as follows. Any attempt to get to the feet is a traveling, unless the player is dribbling. It is also a traveling violation if a player puts the ball on the floor, then rises, and is the first to touch the ball. A fumble is the accidental loss of player control when the ball unintentionally drops or slips from a player's grasp. When this happens, a player is allowed to perform the same move before fumbling without penalty. Question: can a player who attempted a shot and that shot not touch the backboard, the ring, or any other player be the first to catch the ball before it strikes the floor? The answer is yes. There is no team control after the ball was released on a try. Therefore, the shooter has the same freedoms as everyone else when rebounding this basketball. During this drive to the basket, once the ball handler stops his dribble, he can no longer dribble the ball again. His movements are now limited to what his pivot foot can do. With that being said, passing the ball to himself while his pivot foot remains on the ground is legal. However, passing the ball to himself while replanting his pivot foot is illegal. If both feet are off the floor and the player lands simultaneously on both feet, either foot may be the pivot. It's determined that one foot landed followed by the other. The first foot to touch is the pivot. After coming to a stop and establishing a pivot foot, the pivot foot may be lifted, but not returned to the floor before the ball is released on a pass or a try for goal. It's important to use proper rulebook terminology when discussing rules with fellow officials. After catching the ball handler must first release the ball to start his dribble before the pivot foot is lifted from the floor. The ball handler is also not permitted to replant his pivot foot. He must pass, shoot, or call a timeout to avoid a violation. The more we study the rule book, the case book, as well as training videos, the better we can become at identifying traveling violations. Once we train ourselves to properly identify which foot is the pivot foot, the rest is easy. Now, you be the judge. Traveling violation or legal play? Looks like either foot can be the pivot foot on this play. Not anymore. Alright, let's keep an eye on that left foot. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed it, please feel free to share. I'm your host, the Professor, and I'll see you next time.